So let's skip this slide. Okay, so let's do, so with the previous four sessions we have learned, we have like explore like different functions in different libraries, but they're all like Python standard libraries. And most of these libraries are built-in function, which means we don't have to install anything. But starting from next section, you will be learning, the libraries that we're learning, we need to install as install in advance. And then we also have a bonus library, in case you never heard of, RD. RD stands for regular expression, but we will talk a bit later. So Python standard library. So we went through, on session one, we went through the OS library and the system library. OS module, the OS library is dedicated for like function, like for like operating system and directory, like such as like getting the directory, and then like, you know, making folders and stuff. And system it provides a function and variables to interact with Python runtime environment, such as like understand the platform and the path, and also the variable as well. And then we have session two, which is datetime, time, and calendar. So datetime module is specifically it's self-explanatory. Deals with day and time intervals, and where time is very specific with like time and this convention. And calendar module, where everyone was very excited and is, you know, very nice because it's help you to prints out a calendar with like specific, like if you put it in the specific command. So, and then session three, we learn about collections and its tools. So there are many functions in these two libraries, which we definitely going through today as well. So collection library help building containers with different data type, and its tools help to provide functions that literate the elements. And then in the session four, we learn about the library of random, math, and statistics. So random provides function to generate random numbers. Math help us to execute mathematical tasks, and the statistics library help us to calculate mathematical statistics of numeric data. If you're first starting in or you're a little bit confused, you know what is what, it's you know, you're on this, you know, the same page as me, it doesn't make sense. But then when you getting practical with it, use it, and then you will understand like what is what better, which we will be doing it in the live coding section. So bonus recap, bonus is the regular expression. How many of you heard of bonus, heard of like regular expression by any chance? It's just out of curiosity. Ooh, Celia said yes. That's exciting. That's exciting. That's exciting. Couple of you said yes. Hopefully I will be going through some very like the very like introductory function to just like a deep, like, you know, like test out like what is it. So so hopefully you guys will have fun with that as well. So in case this is the first time you heard of like the Regis, so it's the regular expression is a library that provides a regular expression matching operations. It's also a built-in library as well, which means there's no extra installation required. It creates rule and find matching pattern in a string. There's some example of the regular expression as well. Now, regular expression is a very very popular library among all the majority of the programming languages. It has its own rule and stuff. So if this is the first time you see this today and interested, feel free to study it, and you will get a lot of fun with it if you want to deal with like contextual data. So I think that's about the slides. Before we go in, so meanwhile, we can post the Soumya and Shermaine, could you mind post the collab link on the chat, please? So meanwhile, you guys get into thank you. So meanwhile, you guys get settling in with the collab. If you have any specific questions, feel free to ask us, and we will have some time after the exercise as well. Let's go. So just a quick friendly reminder, when you, oops, my bad. Yes, thank you, Shermaine. So remember, when you click the link, you go to File and save a copy in the drive. So you will be so that way you will, instead of interacting like the notebook from me, it will be a notebook of yours, and you'll keep a copy of the version as well. So let me know if you guys ready. Yes, I shall zoom it in. Hopefully it's better. Thank you, Nada. Okay, everyone's good to go. Nice. All right, let's get practical. Okay, so I list on this collab, I actually post the previous collab notebook link on here for each section. So if you want to go through it again, because I'm not going through everything today. So if you're like, you want to do something, you don't want to like review it again, like with like specific function, definitely, I would definitely recommend going back. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us like anytime on Slack. So today I will be mixing up a little bit by categorize the functions, and then later on when we do the Regis exercise, I will mixing it with like some function we learned previously as well as like a part of exercise. So so first we will go through the machine fundamentals, which is the system and the OS. So all you have, so system is, you want to know best way you want to know your system to Python, obviously, is through the Python library, because this is a Python track study group. It's actually a really quick way for you to figure everything out, because sometimes when you code, it gets, different operating systems and different system is like in the first place, it could get cranky. It could be the bug that you were looking for. So it's always, when you do a code, it's always good to check what is the system and what are you dealing with. So in this case, because we are on Colab, which is like a server from a cloud server from somewhere in with Google, so you will see the platform is Linux, and then we will have it's like the Python file is located here, and then it has a lot of modules. This is the what kind of module it exists on the in the current system. So if you try the same code on your local computer, it would be completely different. So if you want to get a practice, I recommend you to try it. And then next, we have the OS system, which I use pretty much everything my Python script. So because I like it so much because it just help you to direct, like find out the directory and then know what is in your file. So instead of opening a file on File Explorer, or sorry Mac people, but like open like a binder, you can actually find out what kind of file you're on, you have on the current directory. So so very simple, straightforward. Like if you want to know the current directory path, then you use like the get current directory function, current work directory function. And then if you want to know the list of file and the directory, you use like the list directory function. Again, if you put it on your local system, you will feel it more related and actually see what is in your file instead of here, because here like it makes no sense. It makes sense because this is a cloud server from Google. So a little bit more about the OS path. Just a quick thing, how do we make a file? How do we remove a file from with Python? So to make a directory, to make a file, make a directory, we put a name, hello, and then make a directory. And then like type this and then to make the file. And then the way we check what is the list directory, if you're on Mac, on terminal, this is, oh God. Okay, so if you like, this is the command you can check on the directory. If you're Mac and you use like the terminal, this should be fairly familiar to you. This is the command on the terminal to check the list of directory. And then if you're running this exact same code on the Windows, it should be the dir instead of ls. So now we know that this directory has hello folder and the sample data folder, which is the default folder. Now we want to remove the directory. So we remove the directory with the name, with hello name. And then when we run again, it disappears. Okay, so that's the useful thing about the OS module. Highly recommend you play around with it, get your files better, get your Python code better. All right, so everyone okay? Everyone okay so far? Awesome. Now, after we understand the machine, we go to the time travel essentials. Sorry, it's kind of lame title. I just making up this afternoon, but we're dealing with like a daytime, time, and calendar module. That's the best I could come up. So the daytime library is I just list a couple of functions to let you understand what is going on. Sorry, I'm gonna like pull back a little bit. So if you just want the code, you will, so first of all, if you want to know the daytime, and then you'll be like, oh, this is the date, the daytime and current today is like UTC this, and today is the August 28, 2021. And if you wanna like chop it up and only know the current year, and then you can use this function. You can use this function to, let me see what I'm doing. Okay, sorry. So in order to chop it up into current year and current month and current week, so you can use, so first of course, I would get the information, retrieve the information using this function, daytime.day.today. And then what I did is I used a function called string to time, I think. This function to retrieve all the information. So If you want to know, so this is like represent as year, this is represent as month, and this is represent as weeks. They have a list of table to show what is what. On Shermaine's, on the session 2 collab, it actually showed you the symbol, like how to retrieve specific information in a specific way. So feel free to check it out if you are interested knowing a bit more about this. So now, because I print, so I just write a lazy way to print everything. So because I use this function to retrieve everything, now that I can get, this is the year only and the month only and the current week. Okay, and then afterward, we are dealing with time. So times, like I said, time is very specific on the time itself. So it's very useful when you want to run a script and you want to know how many seconds or how many time it, like, you know, how long does it take to run the script. That's, at least that's how I use it a lot. So let's say but if you can check is, what happened is here is, oh, I'm going to show you again. So we can see the time, we can see the current time is in a second. So it's like a calculation. So basically it calculates all the hour, minutes, and second into like a flow into a data. And then so that's why it's not too familiar with us, but it's actually the raw form is the most familiar form with computers. So often when we use this function, it actually calculate, it actually, like, it needs to often needs to convert to this form in order to become a transform into like a different function, a different like form that we are used to see. So so this is the current, so this is the time. So what I'm doing here is, like, time also has a very good function called sleep. So then if I run it again, so you can wait 1, 2, 3, and then voila. And then you will see it shows up like 3 seconds later. So this is actually useful when you need to wait something to load and in the script, and then you know there's something to wait, and then like you can put the time sleep there, and then it won't run right away, and then instead it will run like a specific seconds later. And then finally, what everyone was very interested in is calendar. So I remember I declared the current year and the current month in this code, in this set of code, and I use this calendar month function to pull out, and then use that to variable to pull it out as this month's calendar. Just something, just a reminder. I actually something be careful with the data type here. When I actually print it out as like 2021, it's actually a string. And then so it's same as here. So before you do the month, before you execute this you want to execute this function, you need to convert it back to integer so that the computer will understand with like the specific data type. Awesome. Are we having fun so far? NG. Actually, if you go to this, if you're on the same collab section, you can find the links here as well. I'll highlight them. So also you can go to the GitHub website too, where Soumya just posts. Yes, Stephanie, we're having fun. I hope you guys having fun as well. All right, is everyone good? Shall we move on? Awesome. All right, now that we are dealing with the library that actually help us a lot, either we love or hate it, which is math. I know some of you are not as comfortable with math like me. So knowing this library is your best friend when you want to deal with a lot of like mathematical functions. Of course, like you need to know how to work on it, right? So but then like this is math when you have there's a lot of often there's a lot of calculation when you're dealing with data. If you're dealing with financial data, any image data, video data, they are all like numeric form and just calculations. So you like understanding math, the library is actually pretty like it's pretty like handful for you if you want to learn a lot of like machine learning, data science, also NumPy as well, but we will be going through next week. But I'm selling math like for this section. So just pull out some couple like very simple function of math. So like for example, I can find the pi. No one want to remember. No one kind of want to remember after 3.14, you know. But then the accuracy, like the law, the like the like the flow, like you know the like the sorry, the data after the decimal is actually very important when it comes to calculation. So it's always good to have the raw form or the raw like the raw form of the pi. Let's say if you're using pi, for example. So and then the floor max floor function is actually rounded up to like an integer. So basically a float to integer. So that's just one of the example that shows here. Um, and but like we definitely have like way more examples that like we talk about on the last session, which is session 4. So feel free to check it out. Now that we're dealing with statistics, also very fun, I know. Okay, so statistics, it's to like so math is more like you know plus minus like if we're putting a simple rate, and then you know like dividing like stuff, and then statistics is more like for like you know median, standard deviation, like variance, such like etc. So like so in here I show an example. So first of all, I use the random function too. I use a random function to create a list of 10 integers, 10 integers from 1 to 100. And then to find a median of the random list, I use this function. And then standard deviation is the same. So when you use the stddev function to find out thing is which is very straightforward. You don't have to worry. Wait, what is standard deviation again? What? And instead of you just have to use the function. So I would highly recommend everyone understand everything before it use it. So so that's about the math function that we hate and love, or love, sorry. Any questions so far? Everyone good? Before we go into the mini exercise? If I'm talking a little bit slow or too fast, please let me know. Or if I'm bubbling too much, please let me know as well. Soumya, my favorite module in the standard library is probably the OS, because I use it on every single script to get my path, to get my directory and everything, and then create a file. Sometimes I'm too lazy. I'm actually creating a file on the Python script instead of like actually going to like the file explorer, like the usual screen that we usually see the file and like you know create the folder. Celia's favorite is statistics. Yes, it's fun. What is everyone's favorite module? Yes, random is fun. I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree with Shermaine, Angie. Yes. guess what? Will we be dealing with and random? We'll be doing one mini exercise with random as well. So please look forward to it. Yes, yes, OS, yes. All right, let's move on to the mini exercise that we are doing today. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna in this mini exercise, I actually mixed with like couple libraries that we went through before, plus the Regis, just a little bit of Regis. So if you're a big fan, I'm sorry, it's not too much, but it's like a taste of it. So so first of all, we run this function. So I actually take the Women Who Code Code of Conduct page as an experiment, as an example, because it is very useful information, but it's a little bit long. So let's dive into it and then see how we use different libraries and functions to retrieve the information we want to retrieve. Okay, so remember to run. So run this code. Okay, awesome. So first of all, we are dealing with counters. So counter function is from the collection function. So basically it counts how many words there are in like the occurrence of like each word in the each string. So if you click this one, uh, for example, I do this for all the paragraphs. So the code of conduct on this slide has like 3 paragraphs. I actually dissect to the 3 paragraphs to let you guys see what it is. So we could do it separately. So for example, if you can see, if you run this split and then so the P2, and it will show you 2 occurs 3 times, hour occurs 2 times, and event occurs 2 times. So if you want to see more, because paragraph 1 is longer, you will see difference to result, which is and the community and women in the code, so etc. So it's very useful when you want to count the words. And then the reason I am separating this is because there's another very useful function called ChainMap from the collection function that's well, from the collection module as well, that we can actually combine the 3 counter into one. Sometimes we want to separate things and count them separately. Sometimes, let's say if you have like 200 pages of stuff, you don't want to count them together. Sometimes you want to count by page. So if you, but then at the end, if you want to combine them together and see their whole results, you can use this. You don't have to create everything anymore. Again, instead you just use the ChainMap function. So the ChainMap function shows you in all the 3 paragraphs how many times each word is show up. It will be 1 dictionary, so everything is combined together. Just a little bit explanation about this code. If you see, you see that like this is this one, so it's a dictionary. It's a counter dictionary. So most common means you show it as the prioritize the most occur word, the highest frequency word of in their paragraph in this case. So it's quite a useful function. That's why I want to put it here. So in case you want to know your words, that's a good function that's a good supplementary function you can use as well. And because we are dealing with counter dictionary, so for example, if you print it here, so if you see the type, it actually set like class collection dot counter. Date is like a date type thing. So the way how ChainMap works is like it has to combine three dictionaries. It has to combine dictionaries together. That is the requirement of the parameter of the function, how to use the function. Same as the one that I had to convert from the string to an integer. So that's why you see me actually convert from the counter dictionary to the regular dictionary in order to combine the three together. So just it's just a brief explanation what is going on here. So if you're confused, you want to play with it, like feel free to do that. And then afterwards, we are actually combine everything together. So now that I separate them, but I actually want to do like the whole paragraph as together. So in case you're very new to Python, this is one of the many ways to join all three paragraph in this together. So you use like you use this like command, put everything together, and you actually have like the whole paragraph here, instead of like three string. That's just one of the many ways. If you guys have any specific way you guys do it, like probably more advanced than me, then keep the way. But like this was just an introductory to how to combine things together. I thought it would be a little helpful if you're a little new to Python. So afterwards, we're gonna use the tools module to do. We're gonna do we're using a specific function to play around with the data. So what I'm doing, so basically, it's very long, but then sometimes sometimes if you want to do something really quick, you want to use a specific function to find some. In this case, I want to find a link. Let's say if it's like, just picture a woman who code of conduct is actually very long, like longer than a slide. So it's like 10 pages, which is completely normal. It's detailed. It's good to be detailed, but you want to find a website, right? So what you're gonna do? So you can use one of the ways you can use this is use drop while to get your information. So what does drop while doing here? Drop while means you are like it. So for each word here, in this case, for each word here as a list, when it's not there, until I see the word, don't show me. Like just show me anything after I see the word. Like you say this word. So in this case, it's HTTP, which is the website, the usual website link. And what is going on? Sorry. All right. Okay, so I have to run it. So in this case, and you will see if the X, like for each element, if X is not in HTTP, then it will show up the website. So that's how the drop while works. And there are many ways to do it. It's not as obvious because this the code of conduct website is actually at the end, so you will not see it. You will not see it as obvious. But if you have something in the middle of the list, like in the middle of the list, and you will actually see the difference how drop while can work in this case. So, and then afterwards, we're gonna choose some of your favorite. We're gonna practice one of your favorite module again, which is random. So in this case, I want to choose the word that I wanted to choose a random word in here. So so what you have to do is to press put the co-op split here, and then use the random dot choice to make the decision for you. So that's basically how it is. And it's actually useful when you want to randomly select a sample. For example, if you have to do something, you want to make sure it works. Like you select out of the 100 samples, out of the 100 folders, you want to select one that contains specific data, and this is the way you choose it. This is how I work it on it actually. So yeah, that's I do find random very, very useful. I use it a lot as well. So that's how it works. Now we going to, I don't even put any comments, I'm sorry. Now we're going to the Regis. So the regular expression library. So in this case, what I'm doing is, I'm using this function called find all. Basically I want to find something called, I want to find the word coal in all the lower in the code of the string that I posted, like I contacted here. So what I do is I will explain a little bit in case this is like a little foreign to you. Find all function is actually to you put a list of stuff here. You put the list that you want to search, the elements you want to search for. Like they need to search it in. I put it lower, so it's actually very, very common practice for a lot of dealing with the textual data, because when it has like a capital word, it often it recognizes as like capital letter, and then when you search something with like a small letter only, it actually avoids the case. It ignore like what the case of the word is, and it just like search the character. We will have another way to do it and the next example, but then you guys can so this is like one of the ways to do it. So one of the ways is to actually interpret all the text, each word, and then like transform it to all the lowercase, and then to do it. So this is the stuff that we want the program to find, and this is the code. So Regis itself is like I'm talking to my coworker the other day, it's a language. It's really a language. It has a lot of like its own standard in order to understand what is going on. Like how, for example, how many times it repeats, how many times it stop, when did it start, like what word should it start, and what word did it do this. It's a lot going on. So if you have interested in this, it takes quite a bit of time to learn. If you're interested in this, like definitely go into it. But in this case, what I'm doing is what I'm doing here is I want to use this is the word, this is a continue word, this is the continuous word, and then do it the plus, and then like it's moving on. This is like it's repeated. That's what it means. So this is the word I'm looking for. This is like the word can be like it has something after, and this is repeat. It makes no sense, but then it's like I said, it's a language, and then if you don't put in specific stuff, it wouldn't work. So and just put something very simple. So if you search the whole thing, if you press the code, it says code of conduct. It will find the word code of conduct. So this is one of the ways to do it. Another way to do it is in here, I want to find the list of sentence. I'm actually slicing. What I'm doing is I'm slicing the code of conduct into sentences. Remember, we're doing this in paragraph. We're doing here in, where is it? everybody together as one string, and then now I'm chopping it as like the sentence. So I use the split function, which is the awesome function to when you want to slice specific information, when you slice in a string. So you can use this. So basically, anything period space, can you make a slice? This basically that's what it does, and it will show the sentence. So if you want to see the sentence list, it should be like this. And then it should show you the whole, and then it should show you everything by the sentence. And if you want to see how many sentences there are in the WWCode co-op content, it's fine. So it's different, a different way to manipulate your data. And then now let me uncomment this. So what am I doing here? It means what I'm doing here is the compile. So what I'm doing here is I want to find, basically I want to, I will tell you what I was thinking when I'm writing this code. I want to find community. I know there's a community in somewhere on the passage on the WWCode co-op content, but I don't know how to spell community. I'm that bad in English. So what I can do is that actually use this compile function. First of all, what I need to do is to compile some string that you need to do. So right now here I'm gonna type com. Like com is the word I'm looking for. I don't know how to spell the community. So I'll just like, I don't know it's COMM. And then you have star here. Star means like it's a repeated, it's also a repeated word. It's also between a repeated word. And then dot means it starts, let me double check. My bad. Oh, meanwhile, I found this very useful information. Let's go through it together. It's at the end of the end of the website. So it's actually tell you what is what in the Regis. This is quite a good website I found. So let's say here, let's do it like this. So now I'm using the dot and the star. Don't get the order wrong. So dot star means is between space, and dot just itself, it means everywhere. So here I think one of you was asking about Nada is asking about the W. So W here is actually refer the variable end of word. So so the end is the end of the string. So that's how it works on the last on the previous example. I like this website so much because it also has like actual examples show you how to do this as well. If you want to do something very quick and no limited time to understand what is like, you know, to understand the law, the language, the Regis language. So you can feel free to check it out. I highly recommend it if you're interested. So now back to here, now that we understand what this command about. So compile, we need to compile as like how computer understands it. And then we use filter, and then you use your match function to find anything in the sentence list. Please match it, like find the match one. Filter means like if the match returns to be true, it shows. Like that's like it selects it. But if it doesn't have, basically it doesn't have the COMM, don't choose it. And then we turn it into a list. So that's why when you print the results, it will show you the selected sentence will have community and communities. This is actually very useful when you're dealing with singular and plural words and also as well. So let's say if I just actually type community here, the communities will not show up. So it's when we do records, I do have a habit of like it's like getting the last word, like saving, removing the last two words if I want to find plural. So I'm able to actually find the words like on myself. So hopefully that is the end. So there are two websites. The one I just showed you, I found it very, very useful. And then also Regis been here for so long. It's actually quite a bit of documentation. And I find this guy is very passionate about like the regular expressions. So feel free to try this website and how we use it. It's plenty of sources available, resources available on the page as well. So if you are interested, feel free to check it out. All right, that's the review section of our library series. We finished all the Python standard library. They are all very, very useful. That's the reason why they're part of the standard library. And then also the Regis function is actually a quite complicated function, like module. Especially you're not familiar with it, it could be quite a bit to handle. Its learning curve is quite high. But then it's very useful once you get used to it. So highly recommend it. Any questions for everyone so far? Oops.
Okay. There's one in the Q&A.
Okay, let me answer Soumya's question. I'll be honest with you. When I do Regis, I really just search Google. I can't make the language itself. It's just too complicated. So I'm actually learning to use the library as by when I need it as well. So Sonia's case. So means repeat. So actually it's actually plus is the repeat. If I understand correctly. Let me double check here. So here. In this case, plus in means it's like one or more times. So it's like it repeated many times. It should show up many times. Actually, it should read it as like /W and a plus. So it's actually like the command is actually like in two separate, like the /W and the plus. So /W means the variable end of word, and the plus means it's repeat. So that's how it works. Yes, I hope it helped. And there are different ways. That's good. There are different ways to do to search. For example, I know star and plus are just I all repeat and for repeat, but then when to use what. When the code give you wrong answer, you would know. I'm sorry. I'm such a bad instructor. But I mean that's the way to how to learn, guys. I'm sorry. All right. Any specific questions that you guys wanna know? Meanwhile, we have 6 minutes left. Meanwhile, you guys typing up questions in case you are. I just wanna promote the next topic. We're dealing with everyone's favorite NumPy and pandas, sorry, NumPy and pandas, and then we will do link with more even fun stuff called Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly, which is building graph, which also is a lot of people favorite as well. Also, I like Rico Tinker, and you will know what it is when it comes out. Okay. And then if you haven't followed us, remember to follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. We're also on Slack. So in case you haven't joined us on Slack yet, please join us. We have a fun community there. It's also a good place to ask ask question in case you stuck on like a coding exercise, and we are actually a helpful community. So please join us on Slack. So besides the library series 101, we also have very excited section for Python study group, which Shermaine is one of the co-hosts, which is so they're gonna talk about while loop and for loop. Stephanie as well. So for loop and while loop, and then also function revisited as well on Friday, which is on the 10th and the 17th. And then we also have a speaker event to talk about, like conference talk and how do you, present yourself as well. In a conference, how do you get the audience talk to you? So feel free, please join us. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna end the recording, and then we will talk. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to keep posting. Thank you for everyone joining, and hope to see you next week. Bye.